They built an empire on smoke, steel, and shock value. But behind the giveaways and viral builds, a courtroom clock has been ticking. Today we're pulling back the curtain on the serious lawsuit Diesel Dave has faced, what the judge actually ordered, and why 9 years after their other case began, the legal fight still isn't over. Stay with me, because the money, the ban, and the latest enforcement moves will change how you see the Diesel brothers' story. Let's start with the headline everyone heard, and the details most people missed. A federal judge in New York ordered Diesel Power Gear, the apparel and gear company tied to the Diesel brothers, to pay $11,823,571.37 to global fashion brand Diesel SPA. This wasn't a settlement. It was a court-ordered profits award after the judge found trademark infringement, dilution, and unfair competition. The court said the Diesel brothers company used Diesel, formative branding on apparel and websites, in ways likely to confuse customers and trade on Diesel's famous mark. The dollar figure wasn't random. The judge took stipulated net sales of about $59.1 million and, using equitable discretion, cut that by 80% to land on the final $11.8 million number, big enough to bite and calibrated to approximate actual profits rather than hand anyone a windfall. The money wasn't the only thing. The court also issued a permanent injunction targeting how the brand can appear online. 2 domains, dieselpowergear.com and Find the Diesel Meant for You. Diesel sellers were specifically restricted from being used to sell or even redirect to sites that sell apparel and accessories. Translation: no clever URL maneuvers to funnel apparel shoppers back into a confusing Diesel-branded path. That's a powerful long-term constraint designed to stop future confusion cold. Now here's the part that tells you this story isn't just past tense. After the New York judgment and injunction in late 2023, Diesel SPA didn't just frame the order and walk away. They registered the judgment in Utah in February 2025. Why? That lets them pursue collection where the defendants operate. In other words, enforcement moved onto the Diesel brothers' home turf. When a plaintiff registers a foreign judgment like that, it's about practical power, finding assets, compelling compliance, and getting paid. But while the trademark case looks decided and in the collection phase, the Diesel brothers' other legal saga is still alive. Yes, 9 years on the calendar. The emissions lawsuit, filed January 10, 2017 by Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment, accused the group of Clean Air Act violations tied to defeat devices and tampered trucks. In March 2020, a Utah federal judge imposed civil penalties, roughly $760,000 to $850,000 reported across filings and coverage, and a permanent ban on removing emissions controls or selling vehicles without them. The defendants appealed, but in December 2021, the 10th Circuit largely affirmed liability, sending only narrow penalty issues back for adjustment. You'd think that would be the end. It wasn't. Fast forward to the post-judgment chapter. The court continued overseeing collection and compliance. In June 2024, the magistrate judge found certain defendants in civil contempt for failing to comply with the fees order. In January 2025, the court granted additional relief addressing that contempt. And on July 29, 2025, the court ordered defense counsel to turn over specified communications, noting plainly that the case remains in post-judgment collection. Put simply, the emissions case isn't settled and done. It's in long-haul enforcement, with the court still pushing for payment and compliance years after the original judgment. So what should you take away from all this? First, the $11.8 million wasn't a headline stunt. It's a real judgment with a permanent injunction now being enforced where it matters. Second, the emissions case has become a marathon of orders, compliance fights, and collection efforts, now in its 9th year, as of August 14, 2025. Together, these cases show how courtroom wins turn into long-term leverage, and how brands can lose not just money but control over the digital front door to their business. If you've only seen the giveaways and the builds, you've missed the bigger story: judges, injunctions, and the grind of enforcement. And when a judge restricts your URLs and registers a judgment in your backyard, that's not TV. It's real life.